Hi everyone, my name is Jerry Wise, and I'm a relationship and life coach, and I've been helping people for over 40 years, drawing from the deep well of Bowen Family Systems theory to help them mature, grow up, help their relationships, and develop a sense of self. I also work with adult children of narcissists. I also deal with and help those with narcissistic abuse, those who have suffered by being in relationships with people who have narcissistic personality disorder, and family members who have that, who suffer with that. This video is entitled How the Narcissist Tears Your Heart Out, or how the Narcissist Tears Your Self Out. So I can replace heart with self. This video, I share 6 ways the narcissist tears our heart out, and does that by tearing ourself out. First of all, the narcissist will begin to tear out self-awareness. They rip out our ability to be self-aware and punish us for self-awareness. They force our awareness to be on them, and that our awareness be shared. I should share their awareness as my self-awareness. Their gaslighting leads us to doubt self-awareness. Our awareness becomes suspect and should be doubted and denied. And that's a part of the narcissistic syndrome in a relationship. Secondly, they tear out self-love. They rip out our own self-valuing, our own self-loving. We then believe we are nothing and nobody, and we are pawns in their game of chess, and that we don't matter, actually, to anyone. They will punish us for self-empathy. If you actually start to feel bad for yourself, you will be punished, rejected, criticized, ridiculed, just for having self-empathy. And you'll be seen as weak or selfish. All the empathy in the relationship should go to them and not to us. In a narcissistic relationship, there's no room for self-love and self-caring. This is considered, as I said, selfish, non-loving, stupid. They believe all we need should come from them. And we'll talk more about all the way we need to look at the world comes from them as well. Thirdly, they rip out our heart, the heart of our self-image. They tear out our positive self-image, what little we may have come into the relationship with, or what little we have gathered throughout our lives. They will want to rip out the rest of it. They reinforce devaluing ourselves and reinforce our worthlessness and how we see ourselves as worthless. And so our self-image is ripped out. Any moral compass or self-values we had are destroyed, argued with, and denounced. And actually, it's just like an addict. And if we are into addiction, values, moral compass are one of the first things to go in an addicted relationship. And we used to teach that in the addiction treatment center that I worked in for a number of years. Your values go first. The narcissist rips out my self-image. Who I am, what I value does not exist. And when they discard us, we are left with a shell, numb, empty, and drained. Fourthly, they rip out our self in relationship to others. They rip out our heart in relationship to others. They tear our heart and self out by requiring us to join their super self in a relationship. And I don't mean, boy, that's a good super self. I mean a super self that subsumes all. It encompasses all. Much like family of origin, for example, an infant and a mother have a super self. It's basically the mother's. So the baby partakes of the super self and mom has the super self. And in a family, when we're growing up, it's a super self that we partake of rather than ourselves. And then, of course, maturity and growth, we then end up self-differentiating, meaning I don't partake of the super self anymore. I now am me and have myself. Well, in a narcissistic relationship, that super self is what you are supposed to be partaking of. You are only you in this super self of a relationship that we have. I get lost in the super self that I share in now. It's not shared life. It is a shared super self that I now operate in. And again, just like it can be our family of origin. And many adults today continue to be connected to the super self of the family. When you play out all the roles of the family, when you go back at Christmas time or Thanksgiving or holiday time and you become that child again, you're partaking of the super self of the family rather than being your mature, adult, self-differentiated self. Well, a narcissist doesn't want you to have that self-differentiated self. We become enmeshed due to the trauma bonds and pain and fear of abandonment, which is also what happens with dysfunctional families. So it happens with narcissists as well. That we stay connected to that super self, we stay self in relationship to them, and they are the capital them, out of fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, trauma. We have one self functioning as a relationship dyad. In other words, two people, but one self, and that's the super self. Maybe that explains it a little bit more clearly. Two people sharing one self, but that self is the narcissist. Just like in dysfunctional families, that self is the families and what they want you to do, how they want you to live, how they want you to act and believe. Fifthly, the narcissist tears our heart out by tearing out our self-connectedness with others. And again, since we share the one super self, we're not going to be connecting with others. And this is where this point comes in, where the narcissist doesn't want you to connect with others. Others become a threat to the narcissist. They are jealous. They fear sharing influence with others, with family, with kids, longtime friends, pastors, church members, co-workers. Anybody that's outside this super self is suspect. So you need to stay inside the super self and don't trust anybody out there. Because the narcissist doesn't want someone who sees things more maturely or differently to infect their spouse, partner, friend, sister, child. And that's happened many times, especially in a counseling session. It's difficult, for example, for pastors sometimes to refer their parishioners to counselors, even good Christian counselors, because they fear sharing influence. What if you tell them things that don't agree with what I believe? And there's that fear of that, rather than allowing the person to have their own self and their own thoughts. The narcissist sees it similarly. And again, there are many pastors who do refer people to counselors, and there are many very good pastors. I just know I've had a number of pastors who have trouble, but they're not the only ones that have trouble. Doctors can have trouble with sharing influence with others and collaborating, as well as many other professions, even counselors, social workers, psychologists. The narcissists only want us around others who see the situation the way the narcissist sees it. They mount smear campaigns, scapegoating, send flying monkeys to keep us in line, and to keep those others in line as well. And others for them are those who carry the company line or the narcissist line or beliefs. So you can go be with these people because they agree with me as the narcissist. So you as my spouse can go do that. But it has to be a select few, so that it is us against the world mentality in a narcissistic relationship. Sixthly, the narcissist rips the heart out of us with regard to self-empowerment. True love allows and encourages self-empowerment. The narcissist wants and retains all the power, all the subjectivity or reasoning, and all the decision making. Because remember, the narcissist knows best. They utilize gaslighting to convince us we should not trust utilizing our own power or what we're thinking. And they will use that sleight of hand mechanism. And I talk about relationships being a magic show or a sleight of hand in the video that I posted called "The Problem Is Not the Problem," in which all relationships are a magic show until you become mature and put down the magic and playing the games. And how do we identify the games that are being played? I help you in that video to recognize some of those. The narcissist triggers our guilt, our shame, our fear of rejection, self-doubt, which enables us and pushes us to be impotent, powerless. Then we feel hopeless, powerless, decisionless, because we should not trust our own decisions. They'll all go bad. And all of those fears that come upon us. I hope that you will follow me and my videos on YouTube, subscribe to this channel. Also follow me on all my podcasts on Spotify and all the other major streaming apps. And you can type in Jerry Wise or not how, but when. We have a workshop coming up on May 30th, 2020 for 4 hours. I haven't done a workshop for a long time. It's going to be on Zoom. I hope you'll go to my website and sign up. And I want to thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Be wise today, my friends.